o futebol, assim, o que você já sonha em ter conquistado assim, daqui a 5 anos?
Uma Libertadores, Champions League.
Caralho. Tá pedindo
Vinicius Jr. is a player who leaves no one indifferent. He dazzles with his talent, frustrates his opponents, and commands respect for his resilience. In short, he's a unique player, one of the best in the world today. Although his rise has been swift, it hasn't been without challenges. How did Vinicius go from being labeled an overrated future flop to becoming an undeniable star? Where did this modern football sensation come from? A player once criticized for his struggles to finish plays, questionable shot selection, and inconsistency in crucial moments is now at the top of the game. Vinicius Jr. went from being a target of criticism to one of football's brightest stars. Let's dive into the journey of this Brazilian phenomenon who continues to captivate fans worldwide every week. Welcome to the story of Vinicius Jr. Chapter 1. Football saved his childhood. Vinicius Jr. is a man with big dreams, and those ambitions took root early. At just 8 years old, he was asked to jot down his greatest dreams on a piece of paper. Recently, he shared that list on Instagram, and it's remarkable in its ambition. Play for the club I love, win a World Cup, play for the biggest club in the world, represent Brazil, inspire kids, score in El Clasico, win the Champions League, and unite Brazilians in cheering for me. Today, at only 24, he's checked off nearly every box. The one that remains? Lifting the World Cup with Brazil. Written in his youthful handwriting, his dreams reflect a personal mantra. Fear is just an illusion. Fear of failure shadowed Vinicius during his early days at Real Madrid, but a powerful mindset helped him conquer it, leading him to become one of the most respected players in the world and a frontrunner for the Ballon d'Or. Vinicius was born with that mental strength. Vinícius José Paixão de Oliveira Jr. was born on July 12, 2000, in São Gonçalo, near Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Growing up in one of the most dangerous favelas in Rio, he described his neighborhood as a place where bandits and guns marked every corner. But the people there had a relentless love for football, seeing it as the best escape from the challenges around them. None of Vinicius's friends became lawyers, doctors, or professors. For them, football was the way out. From a young age, it was clear Vinicius had talent, and the streets were his playground and his teacher. He played with kids 3 or 4 years older, which sharpened his skills and helped him grow. The technique and resilience he developed on those gritty streets, nothing like the pristine pitches of the Bernabeu, are what shape exceptional players and distinguish Brazilian footballers. For them, dribbling and flair are not just skills, they're a way of life. Chapter 2. A talented and hungry boy. His journey with football began in 2006 when his father enrolled him to one of Flamengo's 125 satellite schools across Brazil. It was there that Vinicius first filled out an information sheet, revealing 2 interesting facts. At the time, he played as a left back, and his idol was Robinho. Vinicius quickly showed a spark that coaches recognized as suited for a more advanced role. Just a year after joining the school, Vinicius developed a deep love for having the ball at his feet. Though his technical skills weren't yet refined, in 2007 he started playing futsal to sharpen them, crafting the unique flair and precision he's known for today. However, Vinicius's full commitment to football emerged in 2010, when he joined Flamengo's prestigious youth academy, following in the footsteps of legends like Zico and Adriano. His first coach remembers him as a joyful and talented boy. He was always happy on the field, the coach recalls. Once, when he was with the U11, we had him play a friendly against the U13, and he dominated. After the match, the other kids started calling him Robinho and asking for his autograph. Vinicius came from a modest family. Although his family always had enough to eat, it was thanks to the relentless hard work of his father, Vinicius Sr. His family was a fundamental part of his success. His father was always by his side, ensuring that Vinicius stayed focused and avoided distractions. Before being scouted by Flamengo, despite his evident talent, Vinicius attended paid training sessions, costing around $6 each, which his father worked hard to afford to help his son improve. At the age of 10, Vinicius took a test to join Flamengo's training academy and passed. He signed his first youth contract with Flamengo, which meant the club started providing financial support to his family. This marked the beginning of his formal development as a footballer, where he progressed quickly and consistently. Over time, they began to believe more and more in his abilities, as Vinicius started to gain recognition across Brazil. By age 11, he was already being compared to Robinho. The following year, he was promoted to Flamengo's U13 team, hoping that older players would be able to challenge him. He was part of Flamengo's famed Rubro Negra 2000 generation an undefeated team that won over 90 matches. In 2015, at just 13 years old, Vinicius joined the Brazilian national team for the South American U15 Championship. With 6 goals and 5 assists in just 5 matches, Brazil were crowned champions, and Vinicius was named the tournament's best player.
Vinicius Jr, autor de 7 goles en este sudamericano sub-17. Ahí lo consignamos también en la pantalla. Bien merecido.
In 2016, he helped Flamengo's U17 team win the Carioca Championship, scoring 10 goals. Afterward, he joined Flamengo's U18 team for the prestigious Copinha, a tournament featuring the best young talent in Brazil. His exceptional performances in the Sao Paulo Youth Cup and the U17 Copa America had earned him comparisons to Neymar. Vinicius shone once again, and by this point, FC Barcelona started to take an interest in him. However, the U17 South American Championship was about to begin, and everything would change. Early in the tournament, Vinicius displayed all his talent. By the time Brazil reached the final, he had not only scored 3 goals and provided 2 assists, but he also ensured he was the star of the tournament, showcasing skills like lobbing the goalkeeper and nutmegging defenders. He even scored the best goal of the competition, dribbling past 3 players in quick succession. In the end, he won the Golden Boot, the South American U17 Championship, and was crowned the tournament's best player. It was probably the best moment of his career with the Brazilian national team so far. After that, the biggest clubs in the world were interested in the young Brazilian, and he was being called the next Neymar. Barcelona was so eager to finalize the transfer that they were willing to pay his $30 million release clause. But Real Madrid's Florentino Perez had other plans. Having missed out on Neymar, Perez was determined not to let Vinicius slip away to Camp Nou. Real Madrid convinced Flamengo to raise Vinicius's release clause to $45 million, effectively outbidding Barcelona. On May 12, 2017, Real Madrid officially secured the Brazilian prodigy. While Real believed they had signed a future superstar, everyone in Brazil mocked the transfer because Vinicius had only played 1 professional match for Flamengo, and it was disastrous. Real Madrid had broken the world transfer record for a teenager, taking a significant risk, as Vinicius had yet to prove himself. At the time, only Neymar and Kaká had cost as much as Vinicius, meaning the pressure on him to succeed was immense. Though he couldn't join Real Madrid immediately because of his age, Vinicius spent the next 2 seasons at Flamengo. His first season saw him play 37 matches, scoring just 4 goals and providing 1 assist. He received heavy criticism from the Brazilian media for his poor performances, bad decision-making, and lackluster stats. Playing under the weight of a $45 million transfer, he was constantly under pressure. However, by the end of his second season, things started to change. Vinicius found his form, scoring 10 goals and providing 3 assists in just 32 matches. His level of play had completely transformed. He was happy on the field, always smiling, and even dancing to celebrate his goals. Most importantly, he had just turned 18, meaning he could finally fulfill his dream of joining Real Madrid. But little did he know that things were about to get even more difficult. Before he even left Brazil, Clarence Seedorf publicly expressed doubts about Vinicius's chances in Spain, stating, "He won't even play there. It's a completely different level. With a bit of luck, he might get transferred to a club like Porto." Despite facing criticism, young Vinicius held on to his big dreams. During an interview at Flamengo alongside teammate Lucas Paqueta, a reporter asked Vini about his goals for the future. Vini confidently replied that his ultimate aim was to win both the Campeonato and the Champions League someday. The room burst into laughter, and Paqueta even mocked him, asking, "Are you serious right now?" But Vinicius stood firm, responding, "At least I have a dream." Chapter 3. Overrated and Under Pressure.
Dije hace unos días que íbamos a reforzar la plantilla con magníficos jugadores y eso es lo que estamos haciendo. Un jugador que acaba de cumplir hace unos días los 18 años, pero que ya está considerado como una de las grandes esperanzas del fútbol brasileño y del fútbol mundial.
On July 20th, 2018, Vinicius Jr. was officially presented to Real Madrid fans. Unfortunately, things didn't start well for him. During his presentation, he struggled to complete even a couple of kick-ups without dropping the ball. From the outset, Real Madrid decided that he would split his playing time between the U19 team and the B team. As you can imagine, Barcelona fans found this situation amusing, thinking that they had tricked Real into spending a fortune on an overrated player. When Vinicius Jr. arrived in Madrid, Real Madrid had just experienced 2 seismic events. On May 31st, 2018, Zinedine Zidane announced his departure as head coach. And on July 10, 2018, Cristiano Ronaldo, the club's legend, revealed he was leaving as well. Everyone knew that Vinicius wasn't expected to fill Ronaldo's shoes, but the pressure and expectations surrounding him were still immense. The fans understood this, yet concerns and doubts loomed. There was a left wing to occupy, playing time to redistribute, and goals to score. Ronaldo had accustomed Real Madrid to winning Champions League titles and La Liga consistently. The club couldn't afford to regress into another dry spell like the early 2000s. So, what to do with Vinicius? In the minds of many Madridistas, the past weighed heavily. They recalled Robinho, another Brazilian who had arrived with immense hype only to deliver fleeting moments of brilliance without lasting impact. Then there was Martin Odegaard in 2015, brought in to revolutionize the club, but who ended up on loan, and despite later success at Arsenal, was considered a failed project at Real Madrid. Should Vinicius be loaned out? Kept? Especially with the simultaneous arrival of Rodrigo, who would remain in Brazil a bit longer to hone his skills, the stakes were high. He started his preparations with the first team, but was soon sent to play with Castilla under Santiago Solari. The club was cautious, yet hopeful. His first notable moment came in a derby against Atletico Madrid, where he made his debut as a late substitute, becoming the first player born in the 2000s to play an official match for Real Madrid, a significant milestone for the youngster. Vinicius was given his first start in the Copa del Rey, where he provided 2 assists in a 4-0 victory and was named man of the match. 4 days later, he scored his first goal after coming on as a substitute against Real Valladolid, becoming the youngest Real Madrid scorer since Raúl. And that wasn't the end of it. In the next match, Vinicius became the 3rd youngest player to start in the Champions League for Real Madrid at 18 years old, even providing an assist. Everything seemed to be going well for him, and he was regularly included in the starting lineup. His impressive performances earned him his first call-up to the Brazilian national team. It wasn't until October 2018, when Santiago Solari replaced Julen Lopetegui, that Vinicius began to feature regularly in matches. However, post-Ronaldo Real Madrid was understandably weaker, and Vinicius quickly drew criticism for his lack of efficiency. Sure, he had an impressive array of skills: nutmegs, double touches, step-overs, and rapid direction changes, but when it came to finishing, he was wildly inconsistent. In February 2019, Vinicius played his first El Clásico against FC Barcelona at the Santiago Bernabéu. He delivered a performance that would become all too familiar during his early years at Real Madrid. He was dynamic, creative, and constantly driving forward, but his decision-making and finishing let him down. Despite his pace and skill, he often lacked composure in front of goal. Barcelona won the match 3-0, and the next day, the headline of AS summed it up: Vinicius plays, Suarez kills. A few weeks later, Ajax knocked Real Madrid out of the Champions League in the round of 16. That night, Vinicius suffered an injury, ruling him out for 2 months. He missed the chance to be called up for Brazil's Copa America squad in 2019 and finished his first season at Real Madrid with 3 goals and 12 assists in 31 appearances, not counting his games with Real Madrid Castilla. Chapter 4. Hazard's struggles become Vinicius's redemption. In the summer of 2019, Zinedine Zidane returned as Real Madrid's manager, and Florentino Perez decided to invest $160 million in Eden Hazard, a move that could have signaled trouble for Vinicius. Unfortunately for Vinicius, Hazard played in his preferred position on the left wing, costing him his starting spot. Even when Hazard struggled with form, he was still favored over Vinicius, as Zidane needed to justify the club's massive investment. As a result, Vinicius' performances declined, and the fans began to boo him. However, Hazard never truly settled in Madrid. Arriving out of shape, Hazard injured his ankle in November 2019, sidelining him for 3 months, and he would later suffer from recurring injuries. As a result, Vinicius continued to feature on the left wing, becoming the team's only reliable option. Despite his creativity and fearlessness in big matches, he remained inefficient and inconsistent, especially in front of goal. When he finally scored his first goal of the season, he broke down in tears on the pitch. It had been 8 months since he last found the back of the net. Meanwhile, Vinicius' reputation was taking a hit in Spain. It wasn't just the Brazilian media criticizing him anymore. Spanish journalists were now accusing him of diving and cheating. Despite all this, Vinicius finished the season with 29 appearances and just 3 goals, even though Real Madrid won La Liga. However, he was far from achieving the goals he had set for himself in Spain. His stats were not enough to justify the $45 million Real Madrid had spent to bring him from Brazil. To make matters worse, during the 2020-2021 season, he seemed to lose the trust of his teammates. Benzema was caught on camera during halftime of a Champions League match, telling Ferland Mendy, "Don't pass to him, on my mother's life, he's playing against us." Benzema, one of the team's leaders and someone who should have supported Vinicius, had turned against him. Keep in mind, Vinicius was just 20 years old at the time. This could have mentally crushed him, especially when even Eden Hazard, who cost 3 times as much as him, was struggling. Yet Vinicius was still the most criticized player at the club. The next season, though, things would definitely begin to change for Vinicius Jr. Chapter 5. A New Man. The best version of Vinicius Jr. took time to emerge, but the Vinicius 2.0 finally blossomed in the 2021-2022 season. However, the groundwork for this transformation had been laid much earlier, during the COVID-19 lockdown in March 2020. At that time, the Spanish press made headlines about Vinicius adopting a similar method to Cristiano Ronaldo's disciplined lifestyle. He set up a home gym, hired a personal trainer, and even brought in a private chef. Vinicius was determined to reach the next level, and by 2021, he was well on his way. Despite Karim Benzema's frustration with him in October 2020, calling him out for his mistakes, the Brazilian kept working. By April 2021, Vinícius scored a brace in the Champions League quarterfinals against Liverpool. Although the season ended without trophies and with only 6 goals and 7 assists, Vinícius continued his relentless transformation. The summer of 2021 brought further changes with the departure of Zinedine Zidane and the arrival of Carlo Ancelotti. Ancelotti placed his trust in Vinícius from day one. During Real Madrid's preseason, Vinícius focused on refining his shooting technique. He adopted a new approach. Instead of watching the ball, he focused solely on the goal, keeping his supporting foot close to the ball. This change proved effective immediately, and by October, he had already surpassed his previous record for goals in La Liga. Gone were the days of missed chances. Vinicius was now lethal in front of goal. Even when he wasn't scoring, he was providing assists. Ironically, he and Benzema joined forces to form one of the world's most formidable attacking duos. In his first 6 matches of the season, Vinicius scored 5 goals and provided 2 assists, earning him Real Madrid's Player of the Month and later La Liga's Player of the Month in November. As his performances soared, he began receiving unwarranted hate from some Spanish fans, who couldn't use his past shortcomings to criticize him and instead targeted his skin color. Vinicius became Spain's most revered player, and unfortunately, one of its most hated, with his celebratory style and confidence making him an easy target. That season, he was extraordinary, helping Real Madrid claim both La Liga and the Champions League. He finished with 22 goals and 20 assists, far more than his previous seasons combined. Most notably, he scored in the Champions League semi-final against Manchester City and delivered the game-winning goal in the final against Liverpool, effectively securing Real Madrid's 14th European title. That goal allowed him to cross another dream off his list, a Champions League victory, achieved as the hero of the final. For his contributions, he was named Best Young Player in the Champions League and included in the teams of the season for both La Liga and the Champions League. Vinicius Jr. has rapidly expanded his trophy cabinet, securing the Spanish Super Cup, UEFA Super Cup, and Club World Cup. The 2021-2022 season was a turning point for Vinicius. He scored 22 goals and 20 assists in 52 games. In the following 2022-2023 season, Vinicius faced even more hate. Spanish media insulted him openly, and he endured racist taunts from fans in stadiums across the country. In a highly publicized incident, a Valencia supporter hurled racist chants, leading to the game being briefly halted. While enduring these challenges, Vinicius stayed focused and continued to be just as dangerous and effective. With Karim Benzema suffering from frequent injuries, Vinicius stepped up as the main offensive weapon for Real Madrid. While Rodrigo provided support, Vinicius was clearly the star, finishing the season with his best statistics yet, 23 goals and 21 assists in 55 matches. His stellar performance earned him a rise in the Ballon d'Or rankings, moving up from 8th to 6th, despite the focus on the 2022 World Cup that year. Vinicius's progress was also evident on the international stage at the 2022 World Cup, where he delivered an impressive performance against South Korea in the round of 16. However, Brazil's journey ended in heartbreak, falling to Croatia on penalties. Vinicius, undeterred, continued to dazzle with his signature dribbling and playfulness, traits that both thrill fans and occasionally test their patience. Even some within Real's community, including club legend Guti, commented on his need for discipline, saying, "When it starts impacting your game and the team's, it's a problem." Yet, Vinicius's answer came on the pitch, where his skill did the talking. For his 6th year at Madrid, Vinicius was handed the iconic number 7 jersey, marking his rise as Real's key player. With Benzema's departure and the arrival of Jude Bellingham, the team was ready to conquer Europe again. Vinicius not only met but exceeded his previous season's stats, scoring 24 goals in 39 matches. The club secured his contract extension, confirming his commitment to Madrid, despite considering a departure due to rampant racism in Spain. In March, he returned to Valencia for the first time since his notorious expulsion, scoring a memorable brace and celebrating defiantly in front of Valencia's fans, a moment that became iconic. Despite a referee's controversial call in the game's final seconds, Real Madrid went on to win the La Liga title, with Vinicius named to the league's team of the season for a third consecutive year. He continued to excel in the Champions League, finishing as the tournament's top player with 6 goals and numerous assists, including decisive strikes in both the semi-final and final, bringing home his second Champions League trophy. Chapter 6. A crack who divides opinion. Vinicius had undeniably become a new man, a far cry from the overrated youngster some once thought he would be. He was no longer a future flop, he was an undisputed star. However, as his stature grew, so did the friction in Spain, where his presence was beginning to rub some people the wrong way. Vinicius Jr. is no longer seen as an overrated player. However, a new label has started to stick to him, that of a talented but polarizing figure. His style of play, which many, including myself, find exciting and worth going to the stadium for, can rub others the wrong way, especially rival fans and defenders. Vinicius has a knack for showboating, and while that might be thrilling for neutral spectators, it's often frustrating for his opponents. Humiliation in front of a crowd is hard to swallow, especially when Vinicius occasionally adds a little extra flair to it. As a result, some rival fans and players try to provoke him to throw him off his game. Now, let me be clear. I'm not talking about the shameful and unacceptable racist incidents he's had to endure. I'm referring to the typical banter and mind games that happen on the pitch. Vinicius is no stranger to taunting his opponents either, something he openly admitted to after the January 2024 El Clasico between Real Madrid and Barcelona. Despite playing brilliantly, his taunting somewhat marred his performance, and he acknowledged that it was an issue he needed to address. Vinicius seems to have entered a vicious cycle. He plays his game, which gets interpreted as provocation, leading to jeers and insults from the crowd. He reacts, and the Spanish media blows things out of proportion, feeding into the cycle, not to mention the fools who use this as an excuse to spew racist abuse. Vinicius has taken a strong stand against this, speaking out to push both Spain and La Liga to address the issue more seriously. Recently, Vinicius has been more easily irritated than before, likely due to this vicious cycle. Just in 2023 alone, there's already an 8-minute compilation video of his outbursts. Sure, some are in slow motion, but it's still telling. Vinicius is becoming one of those players that opposition fans love to hate. If it doesn't bother him, much like it didn't for Luis Suarez or even Cristiano Ronaldo during certain periods of their careers, then fine. But it's important that it doesn't distract him from his game, his objectives, and his desire to dominate football. Following the Cristiano Ronaldo method, as reported by the Spanish press, there's hope that Vinicius will eventually shed this hated image over time. After all, his journey has always been about hard work and constant improvement, even under immense pressure and in the spotlight. Hopefully, the physical issues he's faced during the 2023-2024 season will just be a passing phase. Chapter 7. Becoming a hero in his own country. In addition to his challenges in Spain, where he may want to improve his image, Vinicius also has work to do with the Brazilian national team. While he was a star at youth level, his impact with the senior team has been, so far, underwhelming. He truly became part of Tite's plan starting from the 2021-2022 season. But even during the 2021 Copa America, he wasn't a guaranteed starter. In fact, he only played 64 minutes throughout the entire tournament. During the World Cup 2022 qualifiers, he started to get more playing time. And the same goes for friendlies, but he wasn't making the kind of decisive impact many had hoped for. It took him 12 matches to score his first goal for the national team, though it did come at a crucial moment. His performance at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar was promising during the group stages, but as the competition stiffened, Brazil was knocked out. With Neymar injured, and even when he returned, Vinicius didn't step up as expected. Now Vinicius is a starter and seen as Neymar's natural successor. It's up to him to take the reins. The 2024 Copa America in the United States was Vinicius Jr.'s chance to truly shine for Brazil, not just at Real Madrid. However, he struggled to lead his team to the trophy. His tournament was a blend of talent and frustration. In 3 matches, he scored 2 goals, showcasing moments of brilliance but also inconsistency. A suspension in the quarterfinal against Uruguay, due to repeated yellow cards, left Brazil without one of their key attackers in a crucial match. Brazil's elimination by Uruguay only intensified criticism of Vinicius, focusing on his discipline and inability to maintain consistent form throughout the tournament. After the tournament, Vinicius Jr. expressed regret following Brazil's elimination from the 2024 Copa America after missing the quarterfinal match against Uruguay due to suspension. In a social media post, he apologized for receiving 2 yellow cards in the group stage, which led to his absence during the crucial penalty shootout loss. Acknowledging his role in the defeat, Vinicius vowed to learn from the experience and help Brazil return to the top, emphasizing that his international career is just beginning. Criticism towards Vinicius Jr. has intensified following Brazil's poor performances in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Defeats against Uruguay, Colombia, and Argentina left the team in doubt. However, Brazil managed to recover, thanks to local players like Igor Jesus and Luis Henrique, securing 4th place in their group. Despite this, the Brazilian public continues to expect more from Vinicius Jr., who won the 2nd place for the Ballon d'Or, but has yet to truly lead the Seleção to its highest level. Chapter 8. A Strong Mindset. In the 2023-2024 Ballon d'Or race, while many expected Vinicius Jr. to win due to his extraordinary season, Rodri was surprisingly named the winner. Rodri's pivotal role in Spain's Euro victory and Manchester City's Premier League title undoubtedly showcased his consistency and leadership, but the decision stirred significant controversy in the media. Many of Vinicius's Real Madrid teammates, along with prominent players around the world, voiced their support, highlighting his transformative impact on the pitch and his critical contributions to Madrid's achievements. According to multiple media sources, the reasons for his loss were Brazil's defeat in the Copa America and his behavior, which was viewed as lacking sportsmanship. Following the result, Vinícius shared on social media that this outcome only intensifies his motivation to work even harder to claim the recognition as the world's best player. For Vinícius, this result is yet another reason to keep pushing toward football's ultimate accolade. What are your thoughts on Vinicius Jr.'s journey and his often controversial attitude on the field? For me, he is a complete player. He is going to improve and certainly win the Ballon d'Or. It's been a pleasure to share this story with you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, don't hesitate to like and subscribe. See you soon for another video on Football Bad Boys. Thanks for watching.